Welcome to today's explainer. Now, you probably think you actively chose the content you're watching right this very second, right? Well, I'm actually here to challenge that illusion of choice. You see, an invisible, highly complex system likely made that choice for you long before you even opened the app. Today, we're unpacking the mechanics behind a true digital titan. So let's just dive right into this and look at exactly how YouTube's algorithm evolved into a staggering $300 billion machine.
To really wrap our heads around this machine, we've got to start with the sheer scale of the platform. We are talking about 2.7 billion active users. Think about that for a second. That is roughly a third of the entire global population. And they are all interacting, clicking, and feeding data into a single, centralized system every single day. And it's not like those 2.7 billion users are just choosing from a small library of content. Every single day, an impossible 720,000 hours of new content gets uploaded. To put that into perspective, if you wanted to watch just today's new uploads, it would take you over 82 years of non-stop viewing. No sleeping, no eating. It's a literal ocean of data, and obviously, navigating it requires something far, far more powerful than a simple search bar.
So, what is the result of effectively navigating that massive ocean of data? A valuation of over $300 billion. Let that sink in. This isn't just some casual video repository, it is a highly lucrative, finely tuned economic machine. Every single interaction on the platform, every click, every scroll represents real financial weight.
Which brings us right back to our core question. Who really chose this content? When you look at the unprecedented scale, the volume of data, and the mind-boggling amount of money involved, you kind of have to ask yourself, is this just a standard media platform, or are we looking at the most sophisticated psychological experiment ever built?
Section 1. The engine, shifting the paradigm.
So how does the system actually process all of this massive data? Well, back in the early days, the platform cared mostly about step 1, which was the click. It just counted raw views. But as you might guess, that basically just led to a ton of clickbait and really unsatisfied users. So the paradigm had to shift. The algorithm evolved to prioritize step 2, which is watch time, and ultimately step 3, retention. The machine stopped asking, did they click, and started asking, how long did they stay? Every single pause, every rewind, every time someone drops off, it's all tracked. And honestly, it's literally the exact same psychology they use in a casino. The goal isn't to get you to win, it's to keep you in the seat. The algorithm is tracking every micro interaction. What makes you scroll, what makes you stop, what makes you finally leave the app. It's all just feeding an engine designed with one singular purpose, and that is to keep you locked in for as long as humanly possible. Section 2. The creator dilemma. Authentic versus optimized. Okay, so if the platform is this massive calculated machine, what does that mean for the actual human beings making the content? Well, it creates a massive pressure cooker within the modern creator economy. Think about the old era of the platform. It was characterized by vlogs, slower pacing, and personality-led storytelling. It felt highly authentic. But contrast that with the new era we're in now. It's fast-paced, often completely faceless, and driven entirely by high-retention editing tactics. Creators are increasingly finding themselves forced to optimize their art for the machine rather than creating purely for their audience. Because the hard truth is, if you don't edit for retention, the algorithm simply won't serve your content, period. So you might be wondering, why do creators comply with this? Well, it comes down to the financial reality. While standard entertainment content might have a relatively low baseline payout, niches that are heavily favored by advertisers, like business, tech, and AI, can command $28 or more per 1,000 views. The machine heavily incentivizes specific types of content with massive ad revenue, so it's essentially shaping exactly what gets made and exactly how it's presented to us. Section 3. The twist. The human element.
Now, it's super easy to look at all this intense retention data and those crazy financial incentives and think of this algorithm as a cold, calculating adversary. But here is the real twist. The machine is a mirror. I really want you to absorb that for a second. It isn't some malicious overlord dictating what we should like. It's actually incredibly passive. It merely reflects what it sees.
See, the algorithm is not evil. It is simply deeply, relentlessly observant. It reflects our collective interests, our hidden curiosities, and our deepest psychological impulses. If fast-paced, high-tension content wins out over slow, thoughtful storytelling, it's not because the machine forced it on us. It's because that is what we, collectively, are actively choosing to watch. The machine is ultimately only as good or as flawed as the humanity it tracks.
Section 4. The Future. AI and Human Connection. As we look ahead, we are rapidly entering an era where artificial intelligence can generate scripts, edit visuals, and optimize for that all-important retention better than any human ever could. But, there's a really beautiful irony here. As the machine gets absolutely perfect at generating highly optimized content, genuine, raw, human authenticity actually becomes the most valuable commodity on the platform. It becomes the ultimate luxury.
Which leaves us with this final thought. The billion-dollar machine we've been exploring in today's explainer is undeniably getting better and better at knowing exactly what we want, when we want it, and how to keep us engaged. But the real question you should take away from all of this is, do we know ourselves?